Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 10 years, there's a popular Reddit theory proposing that Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord from the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. And here, give me 10 minutes and I will prove to you that that theory is actually true. At the beginning of The Phantom Menace, Jar Jar Binks could have very easily gotten out of the way of the ship, but instead he jumps on Qui-Gon for safety. He knew he needed to cross paths with him to find Anakin Skywalker. Then, to show Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan the Gungan City, he does a 20-meter jump into the water, and if any other character did that, you would just assume that they were a Force user. There was even another time in the movie on Naboo when they jumped down to fight clones, but Jar Jar jumps and turns around, and this has been done by several other Jedi in the past. Then you can see he lands in an entirely different spot, and these clones even shoot at his original spot and follow him with their heads. This is also probably a Force string. You can also see him doing mind tricks throughout the movies, because he does an unusual hand movement whenever he seems to want something. On Tatooine, Sebulba is on him and he waves his hand and Sebulba gets off of him. He convinces the Gungan leader to promote him to General.
No. General?
Padme to promote him as Senator.
Misa honored to be taking on this heavy burden. Misa accept this with more humility.
Convinces Padme to start a war and offers military support.
Gungans get pasted too, eh? Gungans not dying without a fight. We say warriors. We say got a grand army.
And then he even convinces the entire Galactic Senate to abandon democracy, the very thing Padme, the one who promoted Jar Jar to Senate, is fighting for, and give all the power to Palpatine, which, surprise surprise, ends up being a Sith Lord.
Direct threat to the Republic. Misa proposed that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
Ahmed Best, the guy who voiced Jar Jar, describes the deleted scene where Palpatine even thanks Jar Jar for giving the powers. Star Wars: The Clone Wars is a TV show that takes place in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and it has been officially named a canon show, which means that the show is officially part of the Skywalker saga storyline. Jar Jar is seen doing suspicious things using the Force. Here, where the clumsy Jar Jar somehow sets the table perfectly,
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
and here, where he controls an animal with a Force by making it protect him.
Youssa okay, Boggy? Youssa saved me. Youssa my new pal.
In that scene, the droids even call him Force user and Jedi.
That Jedi had summoned a monster!
The Jedi are based off of Shaolin monks. Jar Jar Binks could be based off of Ziquan, where you use the weight and momentum of your body to be deceptive and trick the opponent. It's also called Drunken Fist, where you act like you're drunk to be deceptive and tricky. Jar Jar can be seen using this in the war at the end of The Phantom Menace, where he dodges many bullets and wipes out half the army while pretending to be clumsy. He always gets out of trouble and is surprisingly good at killing. It seems like luck, but Obi-Wan even says in A New Hope that there is no luck.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Jar Jar was banned from the Gungan city he grew up in, and when Obi-Wan Kenobi asks him how he got banished, he says it was because he was clumsy.
Why were you banished, Jar Jar?
It's a long ortello, but a small part of it would be clumsy.
Obi-Wan doesn't believe him, and for good reason, because he also could have been banished because of how dangerous he was, and he was someone you should be extremely afraid of.
You were banished because you were clumsy.
You mightn't be saying that.
In that same scene, Qui-Gon says he'll use the Force to know where to go, and Jar Jar makes fun of him, perhaps because Qui-Gon's connection to the Force is weak compared to Jar Jar's.
Where is it going?
Don't worry, the Force will guide us.
Oh, Maxie bit the Force.
In this scene, Jar Jar Binks walks to the elevator where Anakin and Obi-Wan are and pretends to be surprised when they arrive. He probably sensed them with the Force. Jar Jar Binks plays a major role into finding Anakin Skywalker and sets everything up. On their ship, just before the hyperdrive breaks, Jar Jar is in the back mysteriously fiddling with stuff. R2-D2 even runs into him because he noticed he was doing something suspicious. This causes them to land on Tatooine for maintenance, where Anakin is.
Drive is leaking. We'll have to land somewhere to refuel and repair the ship.
Here, Master. Tatooine.
It's not just R2-D2, but all the droids seem to think that Jar Jar is suspicious and hate him, because his mind tricks don't work on them.
You know, I find that Jar Jar creature to be a little odd. Oh, quite right. He's very odd indeed.
Jar Jar is also the sole reason they keep running into Anakin in the first place. He mocks Qui-Gon in front of Anakin to show him that he shouldn't respect the Jedi authority in the later movies. He also takes suspicious interest in Padme before he even knows she's the real queen, and talks to her a lot. He even tells Anakin that Padme is hot to set up their relationship.
Pretty hot.
The reason he does these things is because he needs them to be together, because in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin has visions of Padme dying in childbirth and falls to the dark side in order to save her. So why does Jar Jar act like such an idiot? Well, he does it to be deceptive and trick the Jedi into trusting him because they think he's a stupid Gungan. There's even a deleted scene from The Phantom Menace where he pretends to be scared in this boat, but he can literally swim and breathe underwater. But that's not the only reason. As we know, the prequel trilogy was supposed to kind of mirror the original trilogy in narrative themes. George Lucas states in an interview, Yoda really comes from a tradition in mythological storytelling, fairy tales, of the hero finding a little creature on the side of the road that seems very insignificant and not important, but who turns out to be the Master Wizard. In The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke first met Yoda, he seemed pretty stupid and dumb also. Jar Jar Binks was a creature on the side of the road that seemed insignificant and not important. The mirror of Yoda, one Jedi, one Sith. If George Lucas truly wanted to copy the original's narrative themes, this is perfect. Jar Jar could have been the second Master Wizard. It makes sense, so why wasn't he? Jar Jar's character had massive backlash after The Phantom Menace. It was so bad that George Lucas said himself that they made big changes to the script. Before Jar Jar's backlash, he would have probably been in the end lightsaber duel between Yoda and him. But instead they put in boring Count Dooku, and he was noticeably put in to cover plot holes that were open from Jar Jar's backlash. George Lucas was worried that the backlash would have been worse if he truly revealed Jar Jar's powers. There's even more evidence of this from Ahmed Best and George Lucas. George Lucas states that Jar Jar is the key to all of this about the prequels.
Jar Jar is the key to all this.
Ahmed Best even tweeted, I will say this, it feels really good when the hidden meaning behind the work is seen, no matter how long it takes. Then he tweeted a picture of the script called Jar Jar's Adventures written by George Lucas, and Ahmed says, now do you get it? The hidden meaning is Jar Jar's power as a Sith because they laid all the evidence down in the first movie. Something else that's very possible is that Palpatine is actually Jar Jar's apprentice, and Jar Jar is the one up on top. Jar Jar follows Palpatine everywhere, and I mean literally everywhere. Even at Qui-Gon's funeral, Jar Jar and Palpatine are standing next to each other when they aren't even supposed to know each other yet, and shown literally right after Yoda says that there's always two Siths, a master and an apprentice.
Always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
And from all the millions of planets, they're from the same planet, Naboo. Whenever a Sith is seen, it is later revealed that there is a higher authority than them. Darth Vader is under Darth Sidious, Maul under Sidious, so Jar Jar could have been above Sidious. The biggest thing to take away from this is that the number one reason that he could very well be Sith Lord is because he was the one who gave Palpatine the powers. If it weren't for Jar Jar Binks, Palpatine would have never risen to power and the Empire wouldn't be a thing. Those are my 100% accurate reasons for Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord.